Dear Mother, Sat Sri Akal and Pranam. By Guruji's blessings, I have finally some good news for you. Last so many times I have called you, you've been crying continuously. Now you can stop. After attending 24 interviews, I have finally been offered a job. It is with a very good company, Telstra. I am part of the on-field internet line maintenance and service team. My work will take me all over Melbourne and in the surrounding villages also. My job is to fix internet lines and problems, so it's a very important job. Now I will work hard and make you proud. Please don't be concerned about me. Sometimes the news you hear about Australia is very exaggerated. There is no negative feeling here for my being an Indian. Everyone loves India, especially Bollywood films. Please don't worry about me, and don't worry, I will not marry an Australian girl here. I will only marry someone you choose for me. But for some time, I only want to work hard. Once I have a nice place to stay, I will send a ticket for you, and you can apply for a visa. You will like it very much here. Please give Dadi ji and Chacha ji and Chachi ji my pranams. I will write to you again soon, but I will only call you if you promise not to cry on the phone anymore. Okay, bye-bye. Your loving son, Nitin.
Good evening. Welcome to Hawking the Bard, a show designed to hit you white folks right where it hurts you hard. My burden as the narrator of this theatrical show is to show you something more than what you already know. While the Bard of Avon, William Shakespeare, is a familiar character in these parts, the story of Indian migration to Australia needs a bit of a kickstart. The late 19th century saw a wave of Indians here arrive. Working as hawkers, many of them did greatly thrive. With an increase in their numbers came stories about these strangers, more humorous than dark, for some of the perceived dangers. Imagine a horse and a rider trotting along a country road, used to being challenged by no more than, well, a country toad. From around the bend out looms a man in a turban, a piece of cloth as long as Melbourne is from Durban. The startled horse in fear bolts right across the meadow, leaving behind, on his behind, the poor wounded fellow. These Indian hawkers and their turbans were often seen in rural spaces or in city courtrooms, implicated in many a criminal cases. The arrival of male Indian bodies at the doorsteps of women residents was a source of intense anxiety, accused as they were of staring with feelings very different to piety. This narrative of Indian men as prone to prey on young girls, though profoundly untrue, emerged from a dark political twirl. The late 19th century saw an intensified governmental move to create a white Australia, all other colours to remove. However, any attempt to mitigate Indian immigration was legally doomed, for unlike the Chinese, Afghans and Syrians, Indians were, as British subjects, groomed. As part of a multiracial, multicultural and multilingual empire, any legislation against the Indians would raise the British government's ire. Under the British Emigration Act of 1883, Indians could not legally emigrate under contract to labour, but must be free. It was then that free movement of many a turbaned face that raised a cry to protect white women in their domestic space. The control of their women's sexuality and of the oceanic borders of the nation to be were matters for the Australian Federation of high priority. It is then to honour the Hawker's Queen that I raise a toast to the British Empire, leaving aside for the moment its history as a vampire. I request you all to rise and honor the British Queen, the one who I prophesy has not very long left to be seen. Please stay seated. I'm just reading from the script. Oh, I wrote it myself.
The Queen versus Henry James Down. General Sessions Court, Melbourne, 1st of May 1895. The case presented by the barrister at the bar, Mr. Barnaby Higginbottom. Please proceed.
My lord, and members of the jury, the case before us today is one of an abetment to a robbery. The victim, Hardyal Singh, the Hindu hawker, accuses Henry James Down, a horse carriage driver, of an abetment to a robbery. As the victim, Hardyal Singh, suffers from the same infirmity that plagues all the free migrants that are ravaging the country, that is to say, an inability to speak the English language. I have, for the consideration of a small fee, used a translation service to help translate his testimony, which I shall now proceed to read out. I am a hawker of 24 Castledown Street of Little Lonsdale Street, Melbourne. On the 24th of May, I was travelling from Echuca to Melbourne by rail. At Langsfield Station, 4 men got into the second-class compartment with me. They attacked me and robbed me of my moneys. At Footscray Station, the 4 men got off the train, crossed the tracks and entered into the buggy driven by the accused Henry James Down. I ran after them, shouting these men had robbed me, but the man refused to stop, almost killing me along the way. I stood on the road shouting, "Police, police," but no one came to my help. My lord, with your permission, of course, could I request the Hindu hawker recite a brief section of his complaint in his own language? No reason for inflicting on your ears what should seem only like gibberish. Is to hear the man's particular emotion, especially under those bits under my encouragement. He curses the horse carriage driver. Sense and anger, my lord, which interests the law and wider social world we live in and in the country. Often our women home, when these men arrive, we must take into account, especially while delivering justice to members of the jury. Imagine, for example, a lonely widow living alone in the country. And this man, together! Yes, leave the rest to your imaginations. The Hindu hawker. जब एक ट्रेन फुसकर पहुंची, तो 4 बंदे ट्रेन से निकले और मैं भी उनके पीछे पीछे बाहर सड़क पर हल्की तेज हवा रखते हुए नाई कर मैं चिल्लाता रहा, ये 4 पूरे चोर हैं, इन्होंने मेरे पैसे चुराए हैं। बार बार मैं चिल्लाता रहा, लेकिन ये सारा हमेशा से मेरी एक कमी कोड़े में निकाली नहीं सी, कहते सी, oh bloody Indian dad, इस हरामजादे ने बहुत कुछ अब मारी है पर कुछ लगे मैं रास्ते से हटा दिया तो उनसे बात चल रहा, मैं और क्या करता, मैं खड़ा चिल्लाता रहा, प्लीज कोई मेरी मदद करो, इनको मेरे पैसे लूट के चले गए, लेकिन कोई माता चोद बहन का लौड़ा हरामजादा मदद के लिए नहीं आया। Ladies and gentlemen, before I continue with the story, I'd like to apologize to some of you here, in case I offended you by what I said earlier. I do appreciate some of you might think highly of the British Empire and be upset at my suggestion that it was a blood-sucking vampire. In my defense, I have to say, it was set in the spirit of a satire. Of course, the old adage is also true, where there is smoke, there is fire. Let me explain how clouds form, and from them rain. These Hindu hawkers were from the kingdom of the Punjab, a land of 5 rivers, Jhelum, Satluj, Beas, Ravi and the Chenab. In the Great Mutiny of 1857, when the Indian soldiers attacked the officers of the empire, the fate of British rule in India was indeed dire. It was the loyalty of the Punjabi soldiers that helped turn the tide, a decision that offered our hawkers here in Australia a royal ride. However, when in 1947 the British India in a hurry left, they partitioned the Punjab through a violent cleft. The east was declared India, the West Pakistan, and in between flowed a bloody river of terrible fear. Brother butchered brother, sister raped and killed, with the dead and dying with the gruesome trenches filled. The moral of this gory story I'd like to make clear: when empires are forced to leave, they make the land pay a price that's dear. I don't want to create panic, but I prophesy. When Elizabeth II of natural causes does die, for multicultural Australia, critical times ahead of us lie. Insecure and without their queen, I suspect, the new order may return to its Anglo-Saxon core, as it had done with the White Australia policy in the days of yore. As a backdrop, what are perhaps my irrational fears of the coming new order of Australia, and as a welcoming gift to the new King Charles and his Queen Camilla, for those not already familiar, here is a vision of the Empire's gruesome exit from India.
Between August 1947 and March 1948, 4.5 million Hindus and Sikhs are forced to migrate from Pakistan to India. 6 million Muslims must move in the opposite direction. Britons and Indians witness the bloodshed. Shahid Ahmed.
It is a battleground. People have gone mad. Trains to Pakistan are being looted and occupants slaughtered. They all knew that carnage was in the offing. So did Mountbatten. The British Empire, which tried to build India over centuries, can never live down this great tragedy.
Lieutenant Colonel Hubert Boyd Hudson.
The sight from the air was awe-inspiring. In this chaos, millions of refugees were struggling to get to India or Pakistan. Thousands of others were doing their best to prevent them, murdering them by the hundred. A death is nothing. There are things more terrible than death.
"10 million people are displaced in the partition of India. 1 million are dead."
My name is Barbara Hawk. This earth is my husband, John's ashes. After 4 years of struggling with end-stage kidney disease, his body finally gave in. I was there holding his hand. We were close together in death as we'd been in life. I call it sweetheart to old dying thoughts, as John liked to put it. We're living here now in this little island of green, our paradise, our estate for many years now. Our horses, our troops, our dogs have all lived and died here. John wanted his ashes buried here, under what he liked to call his cockatoo tree, where he liked to sit, singing a song that went something like this. I like to sit each hour and tree, under the cockatoo tree, singing a song merrily, with words meaning nothing particularly. Now this is what it means to be a retiree, living like a true blue Aussie, generally feeling lazy, sipping a cup of tea, reading a book of poetry, or just watching over Dorothy, sitting under the cockatoo. Dorothy was his beloved mare, his firstborn. We had no children. Dorothy was his mare, and Sir Galahad was my horse, a stallion as raw, rugged, and black as they ever were. When Dorothy died, John insisted she be cremated here on the farm with Hindu chants and music and mantras, all that stuff. In the 70s, John was a bit of a Hare Krishna fan. It was a wild and beautiful evening. The sun setting, a deep crackling sound of burning, and flames sweeping up into the skies. Convinced John of the way he liked. Our friends Alan and Leslie were here today when I brought John's ashes home from the crematorium in Street in the city. They helped me dig this spot here under the cockatoo tree. Then I told them to go home to their families. I needed to be alone with John for one last time. Is that an unfair answer to be left alone? So I understand my friends' feeling for leaving me alone. Terrible stories in the country about aloneness, like the woman who'd been dead in her home for 3 weeks before someone found her. The man on his farm who was just so tired that by the time animal welfare got there, 40 of his horses had starved themselves. In spirit, at least in the country, one is never really alone. There's always a dog around, or a bird in the bush, or a kookaburra scattered in the distance. Never really alone. Now, all of you are here too. His presences. recently an old kangaroo has come here to live with us. It's nothing most of the time, just lies around like most old men do in any case. Not very imaginatively, I've named him Roger, who I really need to do this alone. A theatre company that both John and I had been associated with for quite a while. They're rehearsing Romeo and Juliet these days. I thought maybe they could do a scene from the play or something. John would have liked that. The show must go on. I need to call them one by one on the phone because the internet is down. I called Telstra for repairs. They said they'll send someone over, but I'm still waiting. They're just so slow. John and I used to go to a mantra workshop, which we both loved. He wanted me to recite this specific mantra. So here goes. I'm sorry, I don't sing very well, but this is how it all ends, huh? Om Bhurva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Divo Yona Prachodayat Swaha Om Bhurva Swaha
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you don't consider it rude for me to bung in here in the midst of a serious story, what may seem a comic interlude. But I would like to pause this story that moves between fact and fiction with a brief plug, as it were, for my skills of enunciation and diction. You will all appreciate that while a story of Indian migration to Australia is enjoyable to tell, to survive here in Australia, one needs something that is a richer sell. So I offer here my voice and speech coaching skill, promising to make your spoken ability like a lark trill. At the table on the way out, you will see my visiting card that sells a voice coach trained in mastering verses of the bard. As Hamlet says, I will help you speak the language trippingly on the tongue, making your voice ride your breath from a powerful lung. With fun exercises like playing with a tongue twister, this course is open for all, for the missus and the mister. So please come join my course, helping my coffers grow, by learning how to use your voice from a real pro. With the business of hawking my skill over, let us now return to the story of John and Barbara, who is preparing for a party by bringing out the candelabra. I hope some of you are not offended by my transgression and see my embodying a white woman as an act of aggression. It is in the spirit of drama that I act out the part of the old white lady, a classical actor from India, registered here in Australia as a sole tradie.
By the clicking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags? What is to do?
A deed without your name.
So good on the cold stove, days and nights at 31.
Sweated venom, sleeping drop, boiled out first in the charming pot. Iron, towel, trough, wool, flatten, tongue, dog.
Adder's hook and blindworm sting, lizard's leg and owlet's wing.
Sorry, I'm a bit late. The IT guy has finally arrived, come to fix the internet. Oh, they're just so slow, they're pathetic. Anyway, I'm happy Roger has started eating from this bowl, I keep out here for him in the driveway. He's not been looking well at all. I feed him kangaroo muesli and straw, though it's not very good to feed wild kangaroos. Did you know that kangaroos are matriarchal? Who knows? I may have been a kangaroo matriarch in my past life. Not that I believe in all this past life nonsense, you know, but that's a wonderful thing about death. No one knows anything, and everybody is free to make up whatever they want. Did you enjoy that video of Macbeth's Witches? That's from a production of John's. I'm going to, he choreographed this wonderful witches dance, which I'm going to perform at the eulogy this evening. I better practice the dance because I'm a bit rusty. All you professionals, please keep your judgments to yourself. This is only amateur stuff. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble, eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog. And then I think it went something like this. And for a charm of powerful trouble, let the hell broth boil and bubble. I think I'm going to enjoy myself. Finally, after a week, my heart is feeling a little wild and free. Maybe it's being helped by a little bit of John's favourite whiskey, you see. I don't know if it's appropriate for a widow to swig away, but I'm going to do it, you know. I can't grieve forever. I promised you this earlier. Please, just keep it safe. Thank you. I love coming here every evening to recite the mantra. Who knows? Maybe if I add the witches' choreography to it, John may just enjoy it more. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvameniam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodaya Swaha. I hope that's not blasphemous or something, This whiskey is making me do things, making me drop my mask. You know, it's been a week and time passes and I'm really excited about this party because you never know who you meet and life could turn, Death doesn't always have to be such an anal thing, I may just meet someone nice tonight, Being a little bit careful about this all, Did you hear that? Can you hear the music playing? They are rehearsing that scene from Romeo and Juliet. Oh, this is going to be just such a wonderful party. I better put up that sign because you know everybody's going to be drinking this evening. And I think I have my niece here today. Can you just look for this? Oh, it's here. This alcohol, you know, it just makes one lose one's bearings. Could you, I request you put this up there, just across there, so that people can see it. You know, it's just warning everybody, there's a kangaroo here in the driveway. Please don't drink and drive, be careful. All of you as you leave out. Please move up, you're a young man. Yes, get up. It's a generation next. All right. So I insist on enjoying myself tonight and having a lot of fun. Thank you. I hope you're having fun too. Bye-bye.
Lights, you knaves, and turn the tables on! Quench the fire! The room has grown too hot! More lights, you knaves, and turn the tables on! Quench the fire! The room is grown too hot! More lights, you knaves, and turn the tables up! Quench the fire! The room is grown too hot!
The Queen versus Telstra Mobile Company. General Sessions Court, Melbourne, 1st of May 2018. The barrister at the bar, Mr. Barnaby Higginbottom, please present your case.
My lord, and members of the jury, the case before us today is one of criminal trespass. Criminal trespass involves the trespassing of someone's private property without proper authorization or permission. In a case of criminal trespass before us today, the trespasser is accused of trespassing a widow's party being held on a private property. The trespasser is further accused of drinking her alcohol, eating a ham sandwich, especially without using any mustard, and singing and dancing with the members of the Mount View Theatre Company. In his defense, the trespasser argues that he, as an IT worker, was invited, as it were, to be on the property to fix a defective internet line and connection. Seeing a party in progress, he very innocently decided to join in by wearing a mask and a costume. The trespasser is further accused, this time by the female members of the party, of repeatedly asking to be kissed, which they obliged, they thinking he was one of their own. In his defense, the trespasser argues that when he entered the party, he had everybody talking in their Shakespearean language, and he, being an Indian, having read Shakespeare in school, decided to recite the one and only line he still remembered. A line from The Taming of the Shrew, which went something like this: "Come on and kiss me, Kate." To his surprise, he found every time he uttered the line, someone or the other obliged him with a kiss, they of course thinking that he was one of their own. The final acquisition is made by the widow herself. At the end of the party, when everyone had left, as it so happened, she found herself alone with the trespasser, and as it so happened, she found herself receiving a very intimate shoulder massage, which she acknowledges she did enjoy a lot. However, when she wanted to thank the trespasser, she was horrified to discover it was not one of her friends, but Knitting City, the IT worker come to fix the internet. My lord, as evidence I have for you here a video recording of the party. You will see, after 40 seconds or so, the trespasser wearing a very ugly mask with ugly teeth sticking out, very different to all the other Venetian party masks, revealing his ignorance of wearing an appropriate mask for the occasion. You will also notice very clumsy movements showing he's not an actor at all. As a final point of order, members of the jury, I'd like you to deliberate on this matter. After all these unsober shenanigans, this man drove his car all the way from the city back, country back into the city. We won't get him then, but we have him now. I request to your fair judgment. The evidence, please.
Light, you knaves, and turn the tables up! Quench the fire, the room has grown too hot! More light, you knaves, and turn the tables up! Quench the fire, the room is grown too hot! More light, you knaves, and turn the tables up! Quench the fire, the room is grown too hot! the room is all too hot. More lights, new names, and turn the tables up. Quench the fire, the room is all too hot.
You know, I'm feeling very sad. I thought I'd end this all on a happy note. This morning I have to go for another funeral. This morning, Roger. I hadn't seen him for a week. I was worried somebody had knocked him over or something. And I went out for a walk this morning, and there he was lying on the dirt track, breathing his last. I sat down next to him. His eyes clear. And for a moment I felt as if he thanked me for being there. He closed his eyes and was still. Really broke my heart. When John passed away, I'd seen his slow decline over many months of his age. Then to see this aged, helpless creature in a dusty, brown practice, breathing his last. And all the tears. It just felt so sad. I feel sad about another matter. My heart is racked with guilt. Or perhaps racked is overdoing it a bit. I really feel sorry for that IT boy. I don't know what got into me. I just got so angry I picked up the phone and called Mr. Higginbottom. He's one of the oldest patrons of the theatre. He too was very upset. And he immediately decided to file a case on the company for using all these Asians as part of some kind of some bumbling plan, some final solution to rid Australia of all these Asians and Muslims. I don't know, I really don't want this boy to lose his job, or worse, get thrown out of the country or something. I did try to tell Mr. Higginbottom that I had enjoyed the massage. Do you think that will matter? I don't know, this is all making me so stressed. I don't know what to do. Maybe I should just go for a long, long walk, or just lie in bed all day. I don't know, but then there are all these chores, you see. You know, the longer the driveway, the longer it is to get rid of garbage every week, and now it's my job to do it. I tried telling John to downsize, but he wouldn't listen. He so loved the place. Now I'm not getting younger. Such a chore. Sometimes he was such a selfish bastard.
Dear Mother, Sat Sri Akal and Pranam. By Guruji's blessings, I finally have some good news for you. Last so many times I've called you, you've been crying continuously. Now you can stop. I found a very good job. It is much better than that Telstra company. It is a very smart job with Melbourne Smart Taxi Services. My work will take me all over Melbourne and in the surrounding villages also. Every day I meet many foreigners, so it's a very important job. Now I will work hard and make you proud. Please don't be concerned about me. Sometimes the news you hear about Australia is very exaggerated. There is no negative feeling here from my being an Indian. Everyone loves India, especially Bollywood films. People in Melbourne are very happy. They are like us Punjabi people only. They work hard and they do the bhangra on weekends. So please don't worry about me. And don't worry, I will not marry an Australian girl here. I will only marry someone you choose for me.
Thanks so much, Andrew. Arjun is going to have an interaction for about 10 minutes. Do stay, and after that there's going to be tea and snacks. And there's a register outside, so if you like what we do over here, just put your name so we can keep your rest of the time on. There's also, very importantly, a Bhaskar box, in fact, too. So please do show your love for his work and donate your thing.
Thank you, Mohit. I've known Mohit for a long time, quietly from home, because my mother was a good friend of his mother. I think they both were in the Red Cross and Volcanics, besides being neighbors very well. Thank you. This is part of the show. My bearing all my costumes and facing an audience, and facing the questions, and talking about the important issue, which for me in Australia is an important issue. The grand question, is there racism in Australia? And this is a play directed for Australia, and now I'm traveling with it, so I'm very keen for you to comment aesthetically, politically, socially, briefly on my sexuality. Now at 56, quite a settled disaster. I'm not searching too much on that. So anything.